Hello guys, welcome to my channel. It's been a while since I recorded a video. I watched the US Open and I saw Carlos Alcaraz take the title. Um, I wanted to record a video right after, but things got in the way. I got busy and just really did not get the time to do a video. I waited, and finally I'm making a video today because I saw Roger Federer retire. I did not watch his match live, but I did watch the highlights of his doubles match at Laver Cup that he played with Rafa today. I think just a few hours ago. It was really emotional, obviously for him and also for me as a fan. I don't get too emotional usually, but I mean Federer. I've been watching him since I was in my 20s, early 20s, and he was literally like the tennis god in the early 2000s. There was a time, I think, in early to mid 2000s when he was winning pretty much every Grand Slam, other than French Open, of course. But he was winning all the Grand Slams, and I used to watch the news about him. That Roger Federer won another title. Roger Federer won another title. I'm like, oh my gosh! I didn't even watch some of the Grand Slam matches, if I remember correctly, because I knew it was going to be one-sided. Um, that's how good he was. But again, I mean, today I'm going to continue my monologue for a few more minutes, and I'm going to change the format of my channel to more like a question and answer kind of format, because that's much easier. I mean, this without a question and answer format, I think it gets a little harder because I don't scribble much. I'm just thinking while I'm recording the video, and I don't edit much either. So, I just want to make sure that the quality of my videos is a little better. I think a question and answer format, I think, works really well. But anyway, all right. So really, Roger Federer, what do I what reminds me, when I hear the word Roger Federer? When I hear his name, the first thing that comes to my mind is grace, um, smooth flow, like flowing right like a river. Um, his calm and collected, class. These are the words that come to my mind when I hear his name. He's always been like that. He's always been one of the elite, tennis players all his life. Um, I mean, you know, I know Federer had, when he was a teenager, he was a little aggressive on the court. He was a little, not so collected like the Federer that we know. But as far as I can remember, he's always been really calm and collected in almost all his matches. His class personified, in my opinion. And he always seemed like he had control on the game and also on his nerves. um, I feel like sometimes he was so much in control of his nerves that I think that may have made him lose some of the Grand Slam matches, because he was so calm and relaxed even in critical situations. Sometimes, whether it's a match point or whether he was on serve, and has a couple of match points against Novak, especially in those two matches that he lost, one in Wimbledon final and the other one in US Open semifinal several years ago. I think he may have lost a few matches because of his being too calm, in certain situations. But again, nevertheless, he's been one of the greatest, if not the greatest, tennis players that I've seen play. All right. Um, oh man, I cried. After watching his the match point and the highlights of his Laver Cup match, doubles match with Rafa today. The emotion that he went through, and I could feel it. I'm sure the whole crowd in the stadium felt it. I've never seen any player cry that much, on court, in an on-court interview and after the match ended, and I can see it. I felt it actually, and I did cry a little bit. I didn't cry, but I had tears in my eyes too. So it was very emotional for all his teammates, for his family. I'm sure for a lot of fans, it's the end of a great era in tennis. I know we still have Rafa and Novak, in their mid 30s, still going on, but I think they're not far away from retirement. It seems like they're still winning Grand Slams and playing at a very high level, but I think their time is coming up as well. But for the time being, I think we should just enjoy them, play more, matches and competitive Grand Slam matches. But man, Roger Federer, what a player he was, he is. It's just, you can see that the whole crowd, I mean, he had so many fans, he has so many fans around the world. He made everybody cry, and he kind of made me cry a little bit as well. But again, I think he'll go down as one of the greatest tennis players of all time. But again, that's Federer. So that's, I mean, today is September, what, 23rd, 24th? And Roger Federer retired. He played his last match, and I did watch the highlights as well as the on-court interview. So I felt like I should record a video today just about Roger Federer and his retirement. So anyway, good luck to Mr. Federer and all his future endeavors. And I know, his tennis chapter has really not ended. I think his playing, professional tennis career may have ended, but I don't think he's gonna be that far away from the game. Knowing him, he's got his foundation. I'm sure he's got a lot of business ventures going on. He's one of the richest tennis players, if you know or not, but he's one of the richest tennis players. So great businessman as well. Anyway, so is Roger the greatest of all time? Is he the GOAT? If I have to debate this today after he retired, with all the emotion, I would probably say yes. Even if I had recorded this video on a different day, I would still feel like he is probably the greatest of all time. The reason for that is, he's not far off from Grand Slam titles wise. He's not that far off from Rafa or Novak. 20 versus 21, 22. We don't know where Novak and Rafa will end at the end of their careers, but I don't think it's going to be that far away. It's not going to be like 30 titles or 27 or anything like that. I don't think it'll even be 25. I think it'll be more like 22, 23 at most. So he's up there. 20 titles is no joke. And most of his titles he actually won between 2003 to 2000, I think 11, 12 or 10, 2010, or even prior to that. So he won a bunch of titles in the mid 2000s before these guys peaked up. But again, I will give a lot of credit to Federer for the rise of Nadal and Djokovic. I think without him, they probably would have been elite players still, but I don't think they would have reached to the levels that they are, where they are now. I think I'll give some of the credit to Roger Federer because he was at such a high level that they had to, in order for them to win or win a title, they had to go through him. So I think that made them better players. So that's one of the reasons, one of my reasons, why Roger Federer should be the GOAT. And when it comes to, as I said before, controlling his emotions and nerves on the court while playing, I think he is one of the best, if not the best. I've not seen anybody else, maybe Ivan Lendl, maybe Stefan Edberg in olden days, as far as I could remember. But I was a kid, I don't even know what I'm watching. I was just watching the game of tennis. But emotions-wise, I think controlling emotions-wise, I think Federer is one of the best, in my opinion. Novak shows a lot more emotion. Rafa does to some extent. He does show some emotion, but I think Federer is still the GOAT in my eyes. His game is so smooth. I never, even in critical points, whenever I watch Federer play, whether it's a match point or if it was down by a game, or if someone else is on a match point against him, it almost always felt like he was still very relaxed, very composed, and thinking clearly. And so it's not easy to do that. And that's one of the other reasons why I feel like he is the GOAT, because he never had any ups and downs much, if you will. There are not many ups and downs in his emotional level, during the game. So that's actually very difficult to do. Definitely class personified. I know Rafa and Roger, they both come close neck to neck there. But I think Nadal, you can see his emotions, during the on-court interview, and after they played their last game, Nadal was in tears too. He was crying like a baby, and the reason is, I think, not just because they're good friends and have been great rivals, but I think he learned a lot from Roger. He tried to emulate Roger quite a bit, whether it's the persona, or his behavior, on-court behavior or off-court behavior. The only thing he couldn't do well, he couldn't match Roger, was his English skills. If Nadal could speak English as well as Roger does, I think he would have definitely made a lot more money for sure, number one. Number two, I don't know if Roger would have liked him as much as he does now, because even though Roger feels like Rafa is, his contemporary is equal, there's that one area, not tennis wise, but I think, like a character wise, or even like a skill wise, he's better than Nadal in that respect, but anyway, that's not the point. The point being, I think Roger, he's very graceful during his interviews, whether it's post-match or on-court interviews or otherwise. He's always been a great ambassador of the sport. I think he did a lot for the sport. He became rich, of course. I'm sure he'll continue to do that. It's for kids who kids who were growing up watching him play. I'm sure they're either at an amateur level or a professional level already. But he's been a great role model for a lot of kids, I'm sure. A total champion. He's a true champion. I feel like he is the greatest of all time. But again, I don't want to discount what Nadal and Novak did in their careers. They have done tremendously well. But I think all in all, Roger Federer goes down as the greatest tennis player of all time, in my opinion. Titles are not always the benchmark for excellence. I'm sure, of course, if you won 50 titles, of course, there's a reason why you won that many titles. But again, there's not much of a difference. Some of the matches could have gone either way, if you know what I'm talking about. You know which matches I'm talking about, but again, luck plays a role sometimes, and it's not like 20 versus 30 or 20 versus 40. It's like 21, 22 and 20, so I would not consider that as a major factor in determining who is the greatest of all time. I think Roger Federer is in my eyes. But good luck to Roger, and we'll continue with my videos in the near future. Thank you for now. Have a good night.